What is going on, everyone, and welcome to r/EntitledParents. Now, if any of you watching right now have a beard, I presume you'd be pretty annoyed if someone, came into your room at night and cut it off. Well, that's exactly what happened in today's first story. But just quickly, before we get into that story, I've got to let you guys know that today, the 6th of October, is National Jack Day. Incredible scenes. My name is actually Jack, and there is actually one rule of today. You have to subscribe to any Jack that has a YouTube channel. So I can't really think of it. Oh no, me. Yeah. So if you're not subscribed, guys, just go down below, hit the button. It's red. Just click it. And if you are subscribed, just go and check anyway. Make sure you are. It's completely free, and it helps me out. It makes me feel good on National Jack Day. Anyway, enough of that rubbish. Let's get into the first story. Sorry. My parents cut my beard when I was sleeping. My parents had a strict clean shave policy when I was growing up, but now I am an adult and I now live on my own. I had grown a kind of long French beard during the COVID lockdown and was visiting my family once the travel restrictions were relaxed. My parents are hardcore Islamophobes and they were horrified seeing my Muslim beard, and they asked me to shave it because people might think I've converted to Islam and it's going to tarnish my family's reputation. I basically told them to F off and mind about their pubes rather than my beard. What? Today I was sleeping on the couch and my mum cut my beard off, and now it's an ugly mess and I have no option but to shave it off, and I can't freaking leave this place as I'm under 14-day home quarantine as I travel from another state, and I feel they have won for now. So to put it simply, your parents are not only messing with your private facial hair, but they're also extremely racist. What a wonderful combination. Now for our next story. Sir, it's mandatory to wear masks in the cinema lobby unless you're exempt. Proceeds to mock me in a baby voice. Yesterday, I was working as the welcome host at the cinema I work at, which means I just greet people, tell them what films are on, and ask people to wear masks. A man and his girlfriend walk up maskless, and he thrusts their tickets about an inch away from my face, and starts walking by me instantly before I can even read the tickets. I ask him to please follow the marked path that we have for social distancing to the screens, and also ask them to put on masks. He tells me he doesn't care, and proceeds to walk the wrong way to his screen. I follow after him and inform him that it's mandatory for everyone in the whole building to wear masks unless they're exempt. He calls me a freaking idiot and walks into his film screen and shuts the door on my face. So I go to tell my manager the story, but he tells me we can't really do anything to enforce the rules. I just go back to my post for the next 2 hours and everyone else is perfect and wearing masks with no complaints. After those 2 hours, the rude guy walks by me to the exit while loudly saying in the stereotypical baby voice, "Wee, wear a mask, haha, mask, nee, effing idiots." He walks by me really fast, so I can't say anything back, not that I would anyway. Usually, something like that would actually upset me, but it was just so pathetic that I found it hilarious. Oh, OP, I wouldn't worry, I'm pretty sure the way this guy is living his life right now, not caring at all for the safety regulations that are in place because of this pandemic, he will have coronavirus pretty soon, and that will be your karma. Not that I'd wish anyone to get corona. Well, actually, you know what? I kind of hope this guy does get corona. Sorry. Moving on to our next story, entitled Crazy Lady Loses It on Me Taking a Charity Book. So this just happened. Now for the story. My partner and I are very avid book readers, especially since we've had a lot of home time due to current circumstances. Whilst I normally download mine to an ebook, my partner likes to buy traditional paperbacks. We normally would buy in shops, but have recently bought most online. To save money, my partner swaps books with nearby neighbours and friends. She's a carer, so also shares with the people she cares for, so there is a fair number of books being shared around. At some point, everyone has read all the books and we would usually take them to a charity shop. Unfortunately, most are closed at the moment, so now we have a bag full of books and no one to give them to. So today I learned a local grocery store has a charity book rack where you can leave the books on a rack and a few honesty money boxes to donate to said charities if you take a book from the rack. I needed some groceries, so I decided to take the bag of books with me, and so this is where our story starts. I'm in the grocery store and I ask a store attendant, "Can you tell me where your charity book rack is, please? I have a large bag to drop off." "Sure, it's in the corner of our store near the entrance. I'm the only one here at the moment, but if you leave the bag there, I'll sort it out later." "Oh, if you're busy, I'll just empty these books on the rack and use my bag for my groceries later." "Oh, thanks. Well, that saves me a job." So off I go to the book rack and empty out about £200 worth of books, and as I'm not busy, I had a look at what other people had brought in. Now there's one bad thing about ebooks in that they don't have technical manuals. Someone had brought in a manual on how aeroplanes work, and I thought I'll take it to read. I checked my pockets and realised I have no money on me, only credit cards. Oh well, I bought plenty of books in for charity, so I'll take this and tell the store assistant about it when I pay for my groceries. Enter the crazy entitled lady. I sensed some presence had been watching me for some time. A large, middle-aged Karen dressed in a leopard skin dress had appeared and was trying to get to the rack. I had been stacking for a while and thought I was in her way, so moved to one side. But she just stood there and stared at me. Then out comes this piercing voice that still sends shivers down my spine as I write this. Who are you and what are you doing to my books? Yes, she did call them her books. You don't work at this store, so you shouldn't be playing with my books. Mom, I just brought a load of books here and put them on the rack, as the store assistant couldn't leave her till. I don't give a dang about what you were doing. You shouldn't be playing with my books. I buy lots of books from here, so leave my books alone. She then notices I have a book in my hand with my bag. What are you doing with my book? I watched you. You haven't paid for that, you thief. I'm getting the manager now. Manager? Now, I'm a bit confused, as these are charity books, and the minimum contribution on the boxes states 50p per book, so I'm not really stealing after just dropping off £200 in books. The crazy entitled lady, though, stomps off, and a few minutes later appears with a manager. That's him. He took that book but hasn't paid for it. I want him arrested. Mom, calm down. I can't do anything as he hasn't taken anything from the store. Yes, he has. He's taken that book without paying for it. I work for that charity mentioned on the honesty box, and he has not paid. Is that true, sir? It is true. I only have credit cards, so I thought I would be okay, as I've just donated a large number of books. See, he's a thief. He's stealing from my charity. Get the police now. I'm not getting police involved for that smaller sum. Sir, what does the donation say on that box? Oh, minimum 50p, sir. But the manager then rummages through his pockets, pulls out 50p in small coins and puts them in the box as the crazy entitled lady watched on. Now mom, as you've hassled my customer over your charity, I'm going to ask you to leave now. The crazy lady goes quiet. She turns around and slinks out of the store with her tail behind her legs. The manager apologizes to me and offers me a discount, but I said no as he's already bought me a book. Then I bought my groceries. The store assistant thanked me and I go back home. Not the most dramatic of stories, but she did make me laugh. Next time, I'll wait for the charity shops to open. Yeah, that's a bit of a strange one, saying that you own all these books that were donated to a grocery store that you don't work for. Pretty strange one. I just don't really understand that. I guess that just shows though that if you are nice to people, like OP was nice to the store assistant at the start of the story, saying, you know what, don't worry about yourself, I will put them on the rack myself, donating £200 worth of books, then probably that store assistant might have said to the manager saying, you know what, actually, OP is a really nice guy. It's probably that crazy lady that's the one being weird here. Kick her out of the store. I mean, I don't know if that happened for sure, but it's likely that might have happened, you know, before the manager came over to see what was going on. Now for our fourth story. You got the roles from where? When I was in my early 20s, I waited tables. The restaurant was open till 11 PM on weekends and 10 PM on weeknights. Well, one Friday night we were insanely busy and had run out of nearly everything. We had a really weird random busy week compared to most weeks. Anyways, this family of 5 or 6 comes in at 10:45 PM and sits in our smoking section. I was running the smoking section that night and had 2 other tables already there but finishing up. I walk up and greet the table. They start asking about the specials and I tell them and let them know that we do have a limited menu at this time as we have run out of a lot of things. They tell me it's no problem. I take their drink order and run to go grab them. While I'm back there, I grab some rolls, only there aren't any. I ask if more rolls are in the oven and I'm told no by the owner. I tell him I have a 6 top wanting rolls. He tells me that we are not cooking more rolls tonight as they will just get thrown out. I say okay and inform my table that I'm sorry but we're out of rolls for tonight. The dad goes off and says to fix more. I tell him I already asked and the owner said no more rolls tonight and it was out of my control. My manager was standing at the hostess podium podium listening in. I take their food order and it was a process because they wanted pretty much everything we were out of. I finally get their order and the kitchen cooks it like they ordered. My manager helps me bring it out and stays close by in case they cause problems. They say everything looks great and we walk away. I come back after a few moments to check and I see the dad rummaging around on the other table that had just left. He walks back over to his table with a basket of bread from the other table and they start chowing down on the rolls. I'm appalled at this. Why would you take food off another table that someone had eaten at? I ask if everything is tasting fine. The dad says no, that the rolls are cold and hard and that his steak isn't cooked right. I say, oh, I'm sorry, I can get the steak fixed for you if you like. He says no, but he wants fresh rolls. I told him, again, he wasn't getting any rolls, and I asked him where he actually got those rolls on his table right now. He said from over there and points to the recently vacated table. I looked at him and said it was gross to eat food from someone else's table because you don't know what they did to the said food, and it served him right that the rolls are cold and hard. I walked away and went and said something to my manager. The owner overhears this and asks where this table is at. I tell him the smoking section. He takes his apron off and walks up there and stands and listens while he restocks the hostess podium with menus and cleans the silverware table, and generally cleans my whole section for me. While he's cleaning my section up, he's observing this family while my manager and I are watching close by. This family has made quite a mess at their table, so I walk up and ask if I can get any plates out of the way. The dad says no, and for me to get him his freaking check. The owner pops up at this and turns around with this furious look on his face. I placed the check down and said, "Here you go, sir," with a smile, and stand there to wait while shaking my head at the owner like, "I got this." He walks over to where the manager is and watches. The dad pays, but not before complaining about the bill and lack of good quality food. I make change at the hostess podium and the owner comes up and grabs it from me. He walks over to the dad and says, "Here's your change. Now leave and don't come back to my restaurant. You've treated this young lady with absolute disrespect for doing her job and I won't tolerate it. Do not come back ever." They take their time in leaving, and when they do, we start cleaning off their table. They didn't leave a tip. I didn't expect one honestly with them, but they left a penny in a glass of water that was turned upside down. I noticed they were standing outside watching us. I knocked the cup of water into our bus bin and picked up the penny, dried it off and walked to the front door, unlocked it and went outside to them. I threw the penny at them because they were laughing and pointing at me, and I told them to keep the dang thing because I didn't want a single cent from them due to their lack of manners, respect and overall lack of being a decent human being. I walked back in and locked the doors and finished to help clean the table off. The manager and owner were shocked. My owner said, "Well, little Miss Sweet and Innocent isn't Miss Sweet and Innocent like I thought." And I laughed and said, "I may look sweet and innocent, but I'm a pit bull when I'm annoyed the F off." It was the first time him and my manager had heard foul language come out of my mouth. Word got around the restaurant about this table and how I handled it, and everyone was glad I didn't take rubbish off them. Oh yeah, that does not sound like an enjoyable evening or an enjoyable table to wait. Oh, what horrible people. I mean, what can you expect when you come into a restaurant at 10:45 PM that says it's closing at 11 PM? I mean, firstly, that shouldn't really be allowed. I'm not going to lie. I do kind of blame the staff there for letting them come in 15 minutes before closing. I mean, how can you expect to have a full course meal 15 minutes before closing? But secondly, when you come in and expect everything to be on the menu, expect rolls when they've said they're out of them, and then go and steal them from the next table, yeah, kind of weird, kind of weird. And that last thing as well, you know, leaving a penny under a glass full of water turned the other way up, that's just cruel and so unnecessary. And then laughing at the waiter's face, oh, disgusting people, disgusting. I do have to say though, quickly, OP, you handled this really well, like a champ. Fair play to you. I mean, I don't know where you got that from, but yeah, you did the right thing there. Well done. Now moving on to our final story of today's video. Entitled parent demands a free painting and then flips out when I refuse. Okay, so for a little context, I am a high school student in my junior year and I've won various awards for my oil paintings. Some of my works are displayed in local galleries as well, and I take commissions which vary in price depending on the type of painting they want. Most of my patrons request biblical paintings, since I am best at painting in a Renaissance Baroque style and I love to paint scenes with lots of movements. That being said, I also paint a lot of portraits of families, local politicians, etc. Basically, if you pay me, I will paint anything, lol. This all happened BC, before COVID, and I was displaying some of my work at my school's art fair. Basically, the district rented a huge auditorium where various schools would display their best work and then auction off for charity. It was a fun event and a surprising amount of people showed up. Now, here is where it starts. I had about 5 or 6 paintings on display. Most of them were depictions of Greek myths/stories, with a few exceptions being a painting of Jesus' crucifixion and a painting of my girlfriend as a goddess, which she is. I had some business cards that my dad had gotten for me, which had some of my info just in case people wanted to commission me, along with a pamphlet of my prices and such. Now in comes the entitled parent with her baby in a carrying thingy. I don't know what they're called, they look like baskets. I'm sure you've seen one before. Now I must say, the baby looks pretty new. Their face was all swollen and they look pretty small. Why she would bring a newborn baby to a crowded area with lots of noise, I don't know, but hey, I am not a baby expert. Anyway, she grabbed a business card and examined it, then looked back at my paintings. Hey, these are pretty good. Obviously nowhere near as good as the old masters, but a pretty close second, I guess. Though for a 16-year-old, they are pretty good. Oh, thanks, I guess. I've been painting for a pretty long time, and I'm glad that people enjoy my stuff. I appreciate the compliments. Oh, I see you do commissions. How much for one of me and my baby? Well, it depends on what you want. What did you have in mind? Maybe us laying in a field or something? I don't know, something cute. Oh, I can do that. What size did you have in mind? The entitled parent points to the Jesus painting, which was 16 by 20, so a standard medium-ish painting. Okay, well for 2 people, normally it would be about $200, but since your baby is not a grown adult, I can make it $125. What? That's ridiculous. Why are you charging so much for a painting anyways? Well, usually a painting that size takes me about 20 hours at least, and the paint that I use are pretty expensive, not counting the canvas or paint mediums that could be pretty pricey too. I don't care about that stuff. Why can't you just do it for free, huh? I'm a single mother and I really want this painting done. At this point, I am floored. She's asking for 20+ hours of work for free when I have school on top. Sorry, I don't think I can do that for you. It's just not worth my time. I have school to balance as well. I'm a single mother, and you are telling me to pay $100 for this trash? Do you have no heart? I have to work so hard to provide for my daughter. I can't believe you could be so heartless. At this point, she is yelling at me pretty loudly. Her baby is surprisingly still sound asleep. The couple I was talking to earlier come to my defense. The girl said, if you work so hard, then you would understand that doing hours of work for no pay is not worth it. And the boy agreed. Yeah, if you worked 20 hours and then didn't get your paycheck, you'd be pretty angry, huh? Oh, but that isn't the same thing. She is a high school student. She doesn't need the money. She can spare a few hours for me. What? No, I can't. I'm not giving you a painting for free. End of story. Either pay for it or leave. She gets red in the face at this point. She is seething in anger. You little female dog. I can't believe how freaking rude you are. You don't even care that I work so hard. You're right. I don't. Now, if you aren't going to commission me, then can you please leave? You're making a scene when I've been nothing but nice to you. Fine, I will leave. But then she walked up to one of my paintings and took it off the wall. Her baby wakes up and starts to cry, probably from all the noise. She begins to shush her baby and speed walk towards the exit, but not before a man, who I assume was a teacher or something, grabs her arm and attempts to take the painting back. She puts the baby carrier on the floor and attempts to wrestle it out of the guy's hands. They fumble for a while, yelling expletives at each other while struggling with the painting. I should probably note at this point that the painting didn't have a frame or any protective glass over it. I probably should have done that, but it was too late. She ripped the painting out of his hand and smashed it against the floor like a hard rock singer and his guitar. Wood went flying everywhere. People were screaming at her. I was crying because I don't know how to handle my emotions. She turned back to me, sweaty and red. See what happens when you are a rude little female dog? Bad things. I hope you've learned your lesson. At this point, I don't respond. I'm on the floor crying near my painting that I had put so much work into. The wood had pierced the canvas and now there was a huge hole in the middle of the painting. The entitled parent gets dragged out of the venue as various teachers and other students try to comfort me. Eventually, I calm down and the event goes on. I did get about 5 commissions, so I guess it wasn't all bad, but I'm still furious about what happened. I'm just glad that I never get to see her again. Wow, does it get much worse than this? I mean, demanding a painting for free is one thing, but then destroying someone's painting when they spent so many hours on it and probably loads of money on the materials, and just the general emotional hardship that goes into making a painting. Oh man, yeah. I agree with myself there, guys. It doesn't get much worse than this entitled parent. You know what's actually mad, right? I'm just looking back over this story. $200, right, is what the normal price would be for 20 hours of work. Is only $10 per hour, which I'm not going to lie, it's a good price, but it's not a lot. So OP is saying that she would do $125 for 20 hours of work, plus all the materials, the canvas, the paints, etc. So, I mean, after all of that, I can't imagine that she's making any money at all, right? $125 for 20 hours of work, plus all the paintings and the canvas? Surely not, surely not. I'm not going to lie, guys, I hope that this entitled parent had some sort of, criminal justice put upon her, because that's surely illegal to destroy someone else's work. You can't just do that, right? If I go into an art museum and I, pull a painting off the wall and destroy it, I at least have to pay for the painting, or probably, even damages on top of that, or do some time in prison, or community service or something. You can't just get away with that, surely. Surely I'm right here, guys. Surely, tell me. Any of you are lawyers in the comments? Let me know. Thanks. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this entitled parents video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have enjoyed the length of it, let me know, because it's going to be a long one, I reckon. I'm not completely sure. I haven't actually edited it yet, but I think it's going to be. Anyway, if you want some more right away, check out this video right here. It's a classic. Trust me, watch it, click on it. And if you don't want to watch it because you're a loser, well, subscribe anyway. At the time of recording, it's actually National Jack Day, so you're forced to subscribe. What a famous day it is.